Mud trail. Mud no longer. Walker. 644 North Island Avenue. Bird. And I believe that says left. They don't belong in the middle of the sidewalk. You understand? Whoever used it last. Just when you think you're getting ahead, the economy shows you aren't. That didn't last long. Brand new painting too. Users ain't got the first thought of anybody else. This is why they can't be on the sidewalks. They always block them. Here we are with another bird scooter parked right in the middle of the sidewalk. It's gotta stop. October 11th. FAT.
To Israel. Absolutely, such a sad day today. How is the morale among regular Israeli people 1 year into such a major war?
Well, I'm always amazed. You know, I lived in the kibbutz on the Sea of Galilee as a young officer, and then later on I commanded the task force. I'm always amazed at the resilience of the Israeli people, their innovation. So, despite the challenges that they face on 7 fronts now, they are doing very well from my perspective. I just recently received a video from the IDF, and it's anything but downbeat. It's upbeat in terms of their optimism about doing what they need to do, get it done quickly, and then get back to normal life, and prayerfully a peace in the Middle East.
General, you mentioned there that you used to live in a kibbutz, and as well, you are very much involved in affairs in the Middle East. What are some of the biggest changes that you've seen society-wise before October 7th and then after October 7th?
Well, it's interesting. I use a threat that says saying that says threat clears a man's head. So
had an Israeli drone during the fighting there. The video also shows the moment Israeli border police arrived at the scene to support the military. And the newly released footage also appears to show the destruction at a local police station. At least 30 Israeli police officers were killed on October 7th, many of them at this station 2 miles from the Gaza border. Vice President Harris says Washington will continue to pressure Israel and others in the Middle East to reach a ceasefire deal in Gaza. Meanwhile, tensions in the Middle East continue to escalate. Here's Harris speaking on CBS 60 Minutes.
Now, the work that we do diplomatically with the leadership of Israel is an ongoing pursuit around making clear our principles, which include the need for humanitarian aid, the need for this war to end, the need for a deal to be done, which would release the hostages and create a ceasefire.
Harris sidestepped
And
the
you
question
want
in
a
the interview on whether Prime
two-state
Minister
solution.
Netanyahu was a really close ally. The Vice President said a better question is whether America has an important alliance between its people and the people of Israel. She said the answer to that is yes. Harris reiterated Washington's position to support Israel's right to self-defense against Iran and Iran-backed terror groups like Hamas and Hezbollah.
Now, these are safe rooms paid for by the government to make sure that if there was an attack, families could gather. They had food stored there. They're just ready just in case. And those safe rooms became rooms of terror. The places where many young women were raped and mutilated. A barbaric group of terrorists, and don't call them anything but terrorists, because that's what Hamas is.
Hochul was speaking at the Westchester Jewish Council in White Plains, New York. Meanwhile, hundreds of protesters gathered in New York's Central Park yesterday. They demanded the return of hostages held by Hamas. They were mainly from Israel. The New York Hostages and Families Forum organized that gathering. The protesters waved Israeli flags. They were holding photos of 101 hostages still in captivity. They chanted, "Bring them home and seal the deal."
And Iranian general hasn't been heard of from since Israeli airstrikes hit Beirut last week. That's according to Reuters, which cited two Iranian security officials. The general Ismail Qani had traveled to Lebanon after Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah was recently killed in an Israeli airstrike. One of the officials said Qani was in Beirut's southern suburbs during an airstrike that was reportedly targeting a Hezbollah official. Iran has not been able to contact the general since. According to Reuters sources, the Hezbollah official who was targeted in that strike was expected to be the next leader of the Hezbollah terrorist group.
And still to come, 1 year on from the
Strictest abortion bans, but allows exceptions for cases with serious risks to the health of a pregnant mother.
The Justice Department's report on the agency's handling of January 6th Capitol breach likely won't be released until after the election. The department's Inspector General Michael Horowitz told a House subcommittee Wednesday that there is a draft of the report, but Horowitz said he doubted it would be released in time for the November election. He went on to say that he hoped the report will be completed before the inauguration on January 20th. Horowitz also said a final version will have to go through a potentially lengthy classification review. Hurricane Milton is intensifying in the Gulf of Mexico and is now a powerful Category 5 storm.
Yes, as it moves